done for. Everyone get out.
Greetings sailors, welcome back to World of Warships, and I have a viewer replay for you today, courtesy of AKit here, who is going to be playing the Omaha, the Tier 5 American cruiser. Now he's actually from Hong Kong, so therefore he's playing on the SEA server, yes. He's playing World of Warships on the C server. Yes. Yes. Indeed. I'm just going to let that joke sink in. Well, maybe sink down to the depths would be more appropriate. Anyway, this is a domination mode battle. He is top tier, and this is a pretty good matchup for this ship. It's just a pretty good ship generally. If you were doing okay in the Phoenix, then you'll probably do okay in the Omaha, because it's kind of a bigger, more badass version of that. Although, when I say bigger, more badass, it's just that it's, I don't know, it's just upgraded in some ways. I mean, it's not especially well armoured like the Phoenix, but it's still fast, it's got a very good spread of guns, and as with the Phoenix, that means you can basically shoot at a lot of things. In fact, like the Phoenix and the St. Louis, you can just continuously circle around and keep firing shot after shot. So he had HE loaded to start with because the game starts you with HE, or maybe he thought he would run into a destroyer or something. I will say we've skipped about a minute ahead into the battle here, but there aren't going to be any other cuts or edits in this game. This is going to be action from start to finish, and I think that's kind of what Wargaming wants with cruisers. They want people to have that experience with cruisers and destroyers. Whereas with battleships, it can be a bit more of a patchy experience, especially the slower ones. So he's opening up with AP at this Murmansk and doing a metric butt ton of damage in the process with all those citadels. And this is why you fire AP at other cruisers. He's also spotted, there's a Minikaze coming into the B point. We've also got a friendly Minikaze there as well, but this guy, well, he's definitely in torpedo range of this Minikaze, and he is manoeuvring within this rather tight channel. This might be a problem. So he immediately switches his fire to this guy, who's just killed his speed to avoid the friendly torpedoes, and yep, there they are. There's quite a spread coming in there, so this is a little bit tricky. He's going to have to manoeuvre quite well to avoid these, but also avoid running aground. And as we can see, yes, he does avoid them. But if he runs aground here, it might be a little bit bad. Although, to be fair, there's enough friendly ships around that if anyone's shooting at anything, it's probably not so likely to be him. Whereas if he was the only ship in view and he'd run aground, yeah, that would be bad. Anyway, he's just absolutely punishing this Minikaze with his rate of fire. And they, I think, have lost the friendly Minikaze. I'm not sure, or did he just back out the cap? Anyway, but even though this guy has popped out smoke, I mean, AKit just keeps firing, because if somebody is travelling in a straight line, well, don't do that in a destroyer. If you pop your smoke out, don't just keep going in a straight line. Immediately vary your course. But I think, to be fair to the Minikaze driver, his engine or steering or something, you know, maybe multiple things got knocked out by that HE spam. So it was a nice attempt to try and capture the B point, but unfortunately for him, not very successful. But fortunately for AKit, it was more damage and his first kill. So there's that Phoenix that was always there. Yes, he was always there. Not also there. No, he was always there. Yeah. So back to the AP shells and more citadels, although some of these are over pens. This is a slightly awkward angle. I mean, the Murmansk at the beginning, that was absolutely perfect, getting the broadside of an enemy cruiser. And it's why, if you know somebody in a cruiser's going to be firing AP shells at you, for instance, one of the mid-tier Japanese cruisers, then it's probably a good idea, even if it means sacrificing some of your own capability to shoot back, to just start manoeuvring really hard to make their life difficult. And this Phoenix is actually doing his best to make AKit's life difficult, as we can see. And the Phoenix is manoeuvrable enough and fast enough to do that fairly well. Meanwhile, to the south, well, some ships are getting actually reasonably close. I mean, this Tenryu is nearly within torpedo range, actually. Within the Tenryu's torpedo range, that is, which is, I think, 7 kilometers. And in this kind of matchup, you do have to be, well, just in World of Warships generally, there's a lot of ships around. You absolutely have to keep your head on a swivel and be thinking about which way you're going to turn next, what the enemies are doing, where enemies were last spotted, which enemies are likely to be the biggest threat, and there we go, I'm finally taking notice, but much too late. 3 citadels in a row. So it really is all about paying attention in this game, even more so than World of Tanks, because the costs of tunnel visioning in World of Tanks can be fairly bad, but they can be even worse in this game when there's torpedoes and things flying around. So again, switching his attention back up north, and because of the layout of the guns on this ship, which you can see in the bottom left hand corner, he doesn't need to bring his ship around to get turrets in place or anything like that. He can just switch his point of view and he's got half of his guns pointed in that direction. Now there's 2 destroyers still running around on the I&J lines, as well as a Congo. And they're both trying to torpedo him, and he's maybe being a little incautious here, not quite maybe paying enough attention to the fact that there were torpedoes in the water. He was just kind of trusting that they weren't going to hit him, maybe. And those torpedoes, I think, were just ones put out by the Minikaze, so the friendly Minikaze. As obviously there's nothing with torpedoes immediately behind him that's unfriendly. Although, friendly or not, you know, sometimes people put torpedoes out at silly moments anyway. So that guy, that Isakaze, is well within spotting range, and he turns his attention on him. And this is absolutely, I mean, if you're in a destroyer, you do not want to run face first into an Omaha, or a Phoenix, or even a Kuma. Any of these ships with very fast firing guns, or a Cleveland, because it will hurt, or a Pensacola. Why don't I just list all of the cruisers? Why don't I just list all of them? It's actually a little bit easier with things like the Murmansk, not the Murmansk, the Furataka and the Aoba, because they've got a longer reload, but even so. So this enemy Minikaze actually did a fairly clever thing. He put out those 2 spreads, and then put out the 3rd one in a different direction. So although he actually, AKit was actually able to get a torpedo kill of his own, yeah, he just takes one in return, so that's a little bit painful. Now, it was only 1, and he was able to absorb the damage, but still, he might end up regretting that later. That might be health that he ends up needing. It still was fairly impressive, though, to kill a destroyer with the Omaha's torpedoes, because it's the Phoenix and the Omaha of the regular cruisers that get torpedoes, and they're pretty short-range torpedoes. I think I'm right in saying the Marblehead has them as well, and they are longer-ranged. But the Marblehead is, I can't remember. It's got a worse rate of fire or something. I can't. There's some balancing factor there. Anyway, so there is still a Congo that's retreated all the way down to the southeast corner. And rather than go herring after that, which is what the allied Minikaze is doing, he turns his attention back to the middle. Now, our Congo has just piled in, and if it was only the enemy Miyogi, it would be fine, but that's a Furataka. And the Furataka has also got torpedoes, and much nicer torpedoes than the Omaha has. Nicer in that they have a longer range. So this Congo, yeah, RIP. So we're back to the AP at this point. And no Citadel pens yet, but he's still getting a decent amount of damage. And I will say, I mean, this is on the 5.0 client, and I think it was a 4.11 replay. With the mods, I can have at least some idea of the damage that AKit is able to do, but it's not the full amount of damage, because this damage counter doesn't track flooding damage, it doesn't track fire damage, and it sometimes misses shots as well. And I don't know why exactly, but still, it's better than nothing. And nothing is all we have, really, because unfortunately AKit didn't send any... he forgot to take screenshots of the score screens. So I will throw in this little PSA while he's demolishing this battleship with HE shell spam and manoeuvring to put a bit of land between him and the Furataka, because the Furataka's AP shells, if they hit, could be very nasty. if you're going to send me a replay, if you've had a very good game, screenshot the results. Please, it makes life so much easier. Because I know what he reckons he got, well, I'll say what the XP amount is at the end, but yes, it's really only going on his word for it. So we basically lost the north. I mean, the remaining ships left, there's the Minikaze hunting the Congo. We've got a Wyoming and a New York who are facing off against a Congo and a Wyoming, but they're not doing so well, although that Congo looks like he's about to die. And there we go, but the New York's fairly low health as well. And the Wyoming, instead of turning around and helping the New York, just kind of backs all the way off. I don't know. This game was a bit derpy in terms of what some of the rest of the team were doing, but hey, that's true of most games. Anyway, there's the Furutaka. That's a dangerous opponent, and I think AKit knows it because he does his best to avoid getting hit. And there we go. That was actually, I think, a fire caused by AP shells. Not sure. Unless he was firing HE and I just didn't notice. But, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of backup here. Now, the Minikaze has killed that Congo, so we've stabilized the... I mean, it kind of looked a bit lopsided for maybe the first half of the battle, and then it's come down to being a very, very close battle indeed. But there's still a chance that this could go badly wrong. And if nothing else, this Furutaka is a very dangerous opponent if he's wise enough to be shooting AP shells, because the Japanese line get the 203mm guns. I can never remember. Are they like 10-inch guns? 11-inch guns? Not sure. But they're very heavy hitters, whereas the Americans, I don't think, get those until, what, tier 7? I'm not entirely certain. But the kind of the downside for the Japanese is that at tier 5 anyway, they're slower firing, the turrets are a bit slower turning. Although better than they used to be. The Furutaka used to be rather notoriously bad because it had a turret turn time that was almost as bad as comparable battleships, and the rate of fire was such that any other cruiser would basically cripple you. So anyway, he's actually taking some damage here, but the enemy Furutaka is firing HE, it seems like. And that may actually have been a good thing for AKit, because like a couple of Citadel penetrations, I think one Citadel is easily 4k damage, if not more, with the Furutaka's guns. So he could have just been obliterated with a single volley from the Furutaka. And instead, well, oh, there's the Wyoming. Instead, he's left the guy on very low health and actually has switched to HE for that final volley, which was a smart move, I think. He only needed to do damage, and HE was guaranteed damage. So the Wyoming, the friendly Wyoming on the 3 line is actually still in a position to put some fire into that guy, and has done so, which is useful. And this is just a case of dodging shots whilst putting out as many HE shots as possible, because the more fires he can set, the more ticks of damage this Wyoming is going to take, and he's the last player left. Now, while this has all been happening, I haven't been noting it, but not only has AKit managed to get a high caliber, he also got a Confederate and a devastating strike as well. So there we go, that was it. He got the final kill. He had over 100,000 damage done on the damage counter, which was AP, HE, and torpedo hits. With fires, I don't even know. Anything up to another 20k damage, maybe. And in his email, he said he got just over 3,000 base XP, and I can kind of believe it. I mean, we're just going on his word for it, but either way, I mean, even if we didn't know what the base XP was, I think that was still a really good match. It was solid action from almost start to finish, and it just goes to show that, yeah, you might not have the punch of a tier 5 Japanese cruiser, but the Omaha is no slouch, and that rate of fire, even against battleships, can be very, very powerful indeed. So there we go. Once again, PSA, if you're going to send me stuff, it's really useful to send me the score screens as well. Although, if it's like this and a really good match and you just didn't think to get them, then there's a chance it'll appear anyway. So, yeah, but score screens are nice, is what I'm saying. That said, if you want to leave any comments about this match, you can do so below. You can hit the like button. You can check out my Twitch channel. I've started streaming now. I should probably mention that. I'm going to be doing probably little and often streams, maybe kind of 2.5 hours, and I'm not quite sure yet if it's going to be every day or just most days, or I don't know, but I'm kind of enjoying it. So, you know, check out the Twitch thing in the video description, and yeah, otherwise if you haven't subscribed, do so already, and as always, stay tuned for more.